Hello and welcome to Kolme University's ClickUp Function in a Flash, where in every episode we show you a different function for you to use in ClickUp's advanced formula editor. Hi, I'm Michelle Schiff, a ClickUp training specialist here at Kolme Group. As a certified educator with 25 years of experience, I enjoy engaging with learners to help them successfully maximize their knowledge and retention. Today, we're going to talk about a useful function for calculations, which is the round function, as well as RoundUp and RoundDown. You might need to use round when working with averages, percentages, or any mathematical function that leaves a long decimal trail. Just like the name implies, this function allows you to round a calculated numeric value to a specific number of decimal places. The syntax is round, open parentheses, the mathematical process, comma, and the number of decimal places enclosed in a parentheses. For this example, let's say you want to calculate utilization for resource management. And we'll define utilization as the number of hours of time tracked divided by the estimated time of completing the task. Just a quick note here. Time tracking is an additional piece of functionality in ClickUp that can be enabled with the Time Tracking Click app. Time can be tracked with a timer, the range of hours worked, or manually entered. Time estimates are another Click app that will allow you to estimate the time to complete a task in either hours or days. But to keep this consistent, I'm going to use hours. Let's take a look at our practice list. In the list view, I have a column for time tracked and a column for time estimates. Now, let's add a column for percent utilization. I'll scroll up to the plus sign, scroll down to the formula, and title this percent utilization. Click on Add Column, and it will be added right here. Now when I click on the formula, I come down here and toggle on the Advanced Formula Editor. And let's begin our formula for utilization. So here, I will put the time tracked in hours divided by the time estimated, and I want to see this as a percent, so I will multiply by 100. Now I would like to add the percent sign at the end. To do that, I need to make sure that my entire mathematical process is in parentheses, then add the ampersand and percent sign. You'll notice that your formula will change from red when it's invalid to black when it's valid. Once I hit calculate, this formula will calculate my percentages, including this one with a very long decimal tail. Let's see if we can tame this decimal tail. I would like to add another column, move down to formula, and I will call this round 1. Click Add Column. This time, I'm just going to come back here and copy my formula. And using the Advanced Formula Editor, I'm going to move down here to our round function, paste in the working formula, and we'll say that I would like to see 2 decimal places. So I will put in my comma, 2 decimal places, and I'll make sure to have my parentheses to enclose my whole formula. Hit calculate, and you'll see in this column now that we've rounded it to 2 decimal places, I've tamed this to 2. Because the 87.5 is an exact value, it will remain 87.5. Let's try another example. If perhaps the 2 decimal places is more precise than you would like to be, we can go back to the formula editor, toggle on the advanced editor. Again, starting with round, paste in our working formula, but this time let's just take it to 1 decimal place. And now you have a very nice percent with 1 decimal place. If you would like to have no decimals, we'll move down here to formula. Add that column. Click on our formula field, toggle on the advanced editor, scroll down to round, paste in our formula. This time, we'll say 0 and calculate. Now you can see you rounded to whole numbers. Note that ClickUp's round function follows the standard rounding rules. If the digit after the specified decimal place is 5 or greater, the number will be rounded up. However, if the digit after the specified decimal is less than 5, the number will be rounded down. There are times when you do not want to use the standard rounding rules. That's a good time to use the RoundUp or RoundDown function. The RoundUp function rounds a value to a specified number of decimal places, always rounding up to the next valid increment. If you're estimating population sizes for statistical analysis, you may want to round up to make sure your data is representative of the entire population. Or at certain times in accounting when you want to guard against underestimation. Let's take a look at our practice list. Our example here, I have a column for the price of a good or service and the tax rate. We'll say the tax rate is on a sliding scale. Now we want to figure out our total price. So let's add a column for total price. We'll click on the formula field, toggle on the advanced editor, and in this situation, we have our price multiplied by 1 plus the tax rate. So what we see here is our total price with tax. And because we are using a money field, it automatically rounds it to 2 decimal places. Great. But let's say for accounting purposes, you need to make sure that you don't underestimate, so we want to round up. Let's practice with RoundUp. Toggle on the advanced editor, and I will go back in here to price. total price, copy, and let's say I want to round up so that there are no decimal places. Now I have rounded these up for no decimal places. Perhaps we want to be even a little bit more generous with our roundup, so we can round to the tens column. Let's practice this again, toggling on the advanced formula editor. Clicking our roundup, and again, I'll paste in my working formula. But this time, I want to have -1 decimal places. So when I calculate this, you'll notice that even though this is a 1 and would normally round down, we've rounded this up to the tens place of 70. On the other hand, perhaps you want to round down to make sure that you remain under a specified limit. The RoundDown function rounds a value to a specified number of decimal places, always rounding down to the next valid increment. For example, if you are working with safety compliance and the maximum weight limit for a product is 1,256 pounds, to be on the safe side, you might want to round that down to 1,000. Also, in some accounting situations where you want to avoid any overestimation of values, you can use the RoundDown function. Let's move back to our practice list. In this case, let's keep the same price column, tax, and total price, but let's round down this time. So click on the advanced formula editor, move down to round down, paste in my working formula, and remember, we've rounded to the tens column with a -1. If you really wanted to make sure that you are underestimating values, you can round this down even further. Let's say to a -2. Now we have in the 1s and 10 column zeros, and we've rounded this down sufficiently to avoid any overestimation. We can practice this again, scrolling down to round down, pasting in our working formula, comma, and a -3, close the parentheses. In this case, we've rounded down to the thousands. So that is the round function with RoundUp and RoundDown. One important thing to keep in mind about any function is to be very conscientious with your parentheses. Make sure you count how many open parentheses you have and that you make sure you've closed them off when each of the expressions is complete. Thank you very much for watching Kolme University's Function in a Flash, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.